everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Byproduct Podcast. I am your host, Ian Prukner, and I am excited to be here with you. You know, it's been a long time since we've done a podcast, just you and I. Normally, I have world-renowned guests on, unbelievable people in all walks of life who are absolutely crushing it. I always want to bring you amazing content from amazing people who are doing things big right now. And every once in a while, I love to just get on here with you, share my heart a little bit, talk to you about what I've been going through, what I've been learning, what I'm acting on. And today's going to be one of those days. You know, I just turned 40 recently. Right? So just, you know, midlife crisis mode. Just kidding. But, you know, I always around my birthday, I like to reflect a little bit. I love to go back and look at what have I learned? Where am I growing? How am I better and smarter than I was a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? And so today I just want to share with you the top 6 lessons that I've taken with me into my 40s, coming out of my 30s, the things that I've learned. And man, listen, we've been so blessed, y'all. Holy smokes. Like I look at the decade of my 30s, and my kids were very, very young when I turned 30. My business was very, very young. We were succeeding, but nowhere to the level that we've been able to succeed and to thrive and to prosper over those last 10 years. I mean, it's really been amazing. I feel like I've lived 15 lifetimes in one life, and I've had so much experience, so many different things that I've been able to grow from, to learn from, so many trials that I've had to overcome, so many ways of doing things that have evolved. And so I want to share those with you today. I hope and pray that this impacts you like it impacted me. And I hope that you're going to take some notes. We're going to send out show notes here with you. If you are subscribed to the mailing list, go ahead and subscribe. You can do that right on my Insta channel bio. You can really anywhere you connect with me, you can find those links to get subscribed. But here's the first lesson that I'm taking with me into my 40s. Internal vision is greater than injected vision. Internal vision is greater than injected vision. What does that mean? It means that what you really want, what is really on the inside of you, the things you truly yearn for, are so much more powerful than the things that other people tell you that you should want. And man, I've watched a whole lot of people spend a whole lot of time chasing a dream that was never theirs to begin with. And we hear this a lot in the success and achievement world. It's sort of phrased like this, right? Don't take advice from people whose life you wouldn't want to trade places with, right? Don't take advice from people who are not qualified to give you that advice, who don't have the life that you want. And that is really great advice, right? Because that's the blind leading the blind. People who don't know, who haven't walked the path, don't know how to get you there. And so that's really, really important. But that's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about is internal vision. The vision that you have for you in your life. The vision and the dreams that God gave to you. The thing that makes your heart beat fast. The drum beat that is going in your life that may not connect with anybody else. In fact, even very successful people may look at you and say, hey, I don't know what's up with that, or I don't know if that's a great idea. But here's what I found. Everybody wants to tell you how you should live your life. Everybody wants to tell you what should be important to you. Everybody wants to tell you why you need to do this and why you need to do that. And here's the right way to think, and here's the right way to act, and these are the 5 steps. And that's great and wonderful. But if that's not what you're called to, it's not going to matter. And maybe you'll be successful at it, but you'll be very, very unfulfilled. And one of the things that I've learned in the last decade is you've got to get crystal clear about what you want. And you've got to get rid of the guilt and the shame or whatever else is around that, the things you're afraid to tell other people because you're afraid of what they might think or what they might say. Hey, listen, you get one shot at life. And one day you're going to stand before the Creator who gave you those dreams, who gave you that calling, and you're going to have to stand and give account for that. And He's going to ask you, why didn't you live that dream that I put in your heart? And what are you going to answer? Because I was afraid of what other people would think? Because I was afraid of looking foolish? Because I was too scared to say that this is what I really wanted and to really go after it? Guys, listen, you got to step up. You got to get clear about what's important to you and stop living for what's supposed to be important for you. Okay, listen, you got one shot at life. You better go get what you really want. It is too short to be chasing somebody else's rainbow. And that doesn't mean we don't learn from people, and that doesn't mean we're not inspired by people. But man, listen, okay, I spent a lot of time in a culture that had a lot of injected values. You should want this in your life, and you should want that, and you should want this sort of lifestyle, and you should want this sort of freedom. And those are wonderful things, okay? But is that really what you want? Or is it something you just should want? You think you're supposed to want? You think it would be great to have? Is that really what you want? And you've got to be bold enough and brave enough to be able to stand up in life and say, you know what, these are good things. They're just not good things for me right now. Maybe this is another season, but it's not this season. Internal vision is greater than injected vision. The number two lesson I'm taking with me into my 40s, okay, is that results are greater than effort. Results are greater than effort. Busy is a badge of honor today, man. How are you? I'm so busy. I got so much going on. We got 28 things. We got our hands in 70. And we're so busy, but most of us are busy going nowhere. We're busy not making a difference. We're busy not living our dreams. We're busy not fulfilling our calling. And see, you got to understand, it's a little cliche, but you got to work smarter, not harder. Okay, some of you are hardaholics. You're addicted to hard, and you think it should be hard. And listen, that is fine, and nothing worthwhile comes easy in the beginning. But eventually it becomes easier, not because it gets easier, but because you get better, because you get more skilled, because you put in the time and the effort to become a master of your craft. It's not actually easier, but it feels easier. It seems easier because you're stronger. Okay, and so you got to make sure that you understand, okay, that listen, it's okay in the beginning if you got to be grinding it out. It's okay in the beginning if it's hard. Okay, but if you're 10 or 15 or 20 years in and it's still hard and it's still a grind, then you haven't learned. It's hard in the beginning because you haven't learned yet. If it's still hard at the end, it's because you haven't learned. And listen, one of the things I've learned in the last 10 years is if you do the right things each and every day, life in a lot of ways gets much, much easier because you build a great reputation, you build great relationships, and you build a lot of compounding effort momentum, right? Little things done daily, creating big wins that everybody wants. And listen, let me tell you something. Okay, if you've been paying the price, if you've been being great no matter what's going on around you, if you've been doing the right things when the wrong things have been happening, if you've shown up to your life with excellence every day for a long period of time, you know what? You should expect things to start to shift for you, the tide to start to turn, things not to be hard anymore, doors that were closed to open, no's to turn into yeses. It's not always supposed to be hard. It's not always going to be a grind, but man, many of us, we have CSL. Current situation limitation. We view the future through the lens of the present and the past. The things that we've struggled with before, we imagine we'll continue struggling with them in the future. But what we discount, what we fail to recognize is that we're not going to be the same in the future as we were back then. We're smarter. We're stronger. We're more committed. We have better skills. We have better relationships. You are showing up today, right now, listening to this. You are the best version of you you've ever been. You have more skills, more knowledge, you're better, you're more experienced at everything in your life, in your marriage, okay? In relationships, in business, with money, all that. Now, you might not be learning some of those things. You might not be consistently applying them, but you know them. You're aware. You are smarter and faster than you were before. And you got to lean into that. And man, listen, I felt guilty early on when we really started to skyrocket, right? When our income started to skyrocket, when our influence, I felt sort of guilty on the inside. You want to know why? Here's the truth, because I wasn't working any harder than I was working before. In fact, I was working less. I was doing less of the wrong things so I could focus the time I was putting in, the effort I was putting in on the right things. See, guys, listen, the right people, the right activities, the right relationships, the right systems, man, you invest in there and your life is going to get explosively bigger in the next decade. Number 2 is results are greater than effort. Number 3 is impact is greater than influence. Man, today everybody wants to be somebody, and I think that that's deep down on the inside, that we all want to be somebody, that's hardwired into us, but today it's more prevalent and pronounced because of social media. Everybody has an outlet, and everybody's looking for attention, and everybody's looking for eyeballs, but impact is greater than attention. Impact is greater than eyeballs. Listen, 15 minutes of fame has never been more pronounced and prevalent than it is right now. Okay, and people doing also, you got business people, they're dancing on these apps, and they're doing they're catching these trends and spending all this time and effort. And are they making an impact, or are they just trying to get attention? See, understand this: when you create an impact, influence is the byproduct. When you serve people, when you meet their needs, when you solve their problems, when you become others focused, when you get up every day and say, how can I help people right now? Today I'm recording this on a Sunday. Sundays are a day off for me. I don't generally work. And I just felt compelled to get on and to record this for you today. I just couldn't sit. I'm sitting here in beautiful Siesta Key. I'm looking at the ocean. It's hotter than you know what out there right now. So I am going to give myself that. If it was 10 degrees cooler, I'd probably be outside. Okay, but it's beautiful out there. I'm living my dream right now. Man, my family is healthy. They're happy. They're fired up. My kids are all passionate about different things. They're living their dreams, right? I'm watching my wife just blossom into this incredible human being in this next phase of her life. Our businesses are doing absolutely amazing. I've made so many incredible friends. We're getting ready to release our next book. The War Room is absolutely crushing it. Got a long distance mentor, Mike. There's so many good things. And you know what? I felt compelled. I'm like, I need to give back to somebody. There's somebody who needs this today. There's somebody who needs this lesson. There's somebody who needs to not wander the wilderness in the next decade of their life because they could have gotten this information, but I was too selfish to share it, right? I wanted my own peace, my own time, and that's okay, and I'll have some of that before and after. But man, listen, I want to impact people. I want to create and make a difference in the lives of so many people. Listen, I want people to one day look at me and say, because of you, I didn't quit. Because of you, I didn't give up. Because of you, I dreamed one more time. Because of you, I believed again. Because of you, I got up and I dusted myself off and I threw my hat in that ring one more time. One more time. One more time. See, listen, you got to make an impact. And you know what? You don't need influence to make an impact. You can make an impact where you are right now today. There's somebody who can benefit from your experience, who can benefit from your story, who can benefit from your trial and how you overcame it, who can benefit from your crappy upbringing, who can benefit from the mistake that you made that you don't want to forgive yourself for. There's people who can benefit, who can be spoken to, whose lives can be changed, who you can minister to through your story, through your trial, through your tragedy, through your mess, through your masterpiece, through your success. Where you are right now, you can make an impact. An impact is greater than influence, because understand this, you impact enough people's lives, the influence you won't be able to escape from. You won't be able to get away from it. You'll try to leave and it will chase you down because of all the good that you've done in the lives of other people. Okay, number 4 is that consistency is greater than intensity. Man, I remember turning 30, 10 years ago, young in business still, having some success, and looking at all these people who look so fancy, and they looked like they had it all together, and man, I felt like I was a dadgum turtle in the tortoise and the hare race, right? And people were just, boom, blowing by me, doing big things, making this happen. And today on social media, listen, it's even easier to feel like that. You look at people and it looks like they're on their dream vacation. You don't know they're in piles of debt to go do it. They've got this watch, but it ain't theirs. They got the fancy car, but it's a rental, right? They look like they have it all together, but their marriage is falling apart. They don't have peace. Their kids don't talk to them, right? And you look at that, and you look at all these people that look like they're going faster, and you think, man, I should be further ahead than I am now. How come it's taking so long? Why is it going so slow? And what I've understood, what I've learned is consistency is greater than intensity, because you know what I watched over time? Is none of those people who were beating me, none of those people who looked like they had it all together, none of them were able to stay on their game long range. What they were doing was unsustainable. They were bursting, they were surging, but they couldn't keep it up, and they didn't have a plan for consistent, creative action. They didn't have a plan. And so they ran up and then came right back down. They ran up and came right back down. And what I found was doing the little things daily that nobody wants to do is how you create the big wins that everybody dreams of. It's not big breakthroughs that make your life a masterpiece. It's the little things. It's the little things. It's how you manage your time. It's how you treat your health. It's making time for your family. It's spending a few minutes every day learning and growing and getting better. It's those things over a decade that make the difference. And so what I found is, listen, right? You can't be killing yourself out there to go make things happen. You got to dial into a sustainable rhythm, something you could do every day for a decade. And so I look at the habits that I put in place at 30, and at age 40, I've got almost all of those habits still here. And I look back and I say, those are the things that made the difference. That's what kept the weight off. That's what kept me happy. That's what kept my family intact. That's what kept our income growing. That's what kept our net worth growing. That's what kept our relationships and our influence growing. It wasn't the big things. It was the little things. It was the small decisions on a daily basis to put a little W on the scoreboard. Consistency is greater than intensity. Sustainability is everything when it comes to long-term winning. Listen, a lot of people run it up quick and then they fall off. They fall out. You got to lock in on a rhythm that you can do every single day for long periods of time, right? And part of that rhythm is rest. What I learned how to do was rest. I learned how to manage my days, how to find my high productivity hours, put the most important things there, and build a life that I didn't need a vacation from. Consistency is greater than intensity. Number 5 is peace is greater than profit. Folks, not all money's the same color green, okay? And profits are great. Listen, I think you should make a ton of profit. I hope you make record-breaking amounts of profit. I hope this is a record year for you. I hope your income soars. I hope your net worth gets so big it could choke a horse. Okay, listen, I'm all for profit, but not at the expense of your peace. Now, that doesn't mean you're not going to have to do hard things sometimes. It doesn't mean you're not going to have to make tough commitments. But I'm talking about when you know that you know that you know on the inside, right? That opportunity or that thing or those people, they're great, but they're not great for you. And being wise enough to listen to that still small voice on the inside of you. It says, look, I don't need to do this because I think I need to do this. I don't need to do this because somebody else thinks I need to do this. I don't need to do this because I've got FOMO. I'm doing this because it is in alignment with my calling. It's in alignment with my purpose. And it's in alignment with my assignment. And that's where I'm doing those things. Because guys, listen, here's what I've learned. Here's what I've learned over the last 10 years. There's a lot of things you can make. There's millions of ways to make money. Okay, but not so many ways to make a difference and to work in your area of genius where you're fulfilled and excited. Because here's the truth. You're going to spend a lot of time in the process. Okay? And one of the worst pieces of advice I've ever heard, right, is, you find something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Okay, that's total BS. Okay, and everything is work at some point. Okay, but a better way to understand that is find something that energizes you and that you enjoy, where you can work long hours and you can have deadlines and pressure, but it energizes you, it excites you. You might say, Coach, I don't know what that is because what I'm doing right now, it drains me. Okay, listen, maybe you need a new perspective. Maybe you need to get more mentally tough. Maybe you need to shift into an attitude of gratitude. Those are all things that make a big difference, right? And I've had to learn that along the way. But sometimes you are working in a field, in a place that you're not well suited for. And no matter how good you get at it, you're never going to have the impact you would if you were walking in your dreams and in your calling. That goes all the way back to number 1, right? That internal vision is better than injected vision, right? What do you want? What lights your soul on fire? What wakes you up in the morning and keeps you up at night? What do you feel like you have to share with people? What could you talk on for 4 hours? And find something there in that place and give everything you have to it. Wake up every day fired up and excited and passionate about what you're doing. Listen, profits are great. You should get as much of them as you can, but not at the expense of your peace, not at the expense of your health, and not at the expense of your family. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world but to lose his soul, or to lose his family, or to lose his life? What does that profit you? Listen, you got to be multi-dimensional, baby. You can't, listen, 5 F's, faith, family, finance, fitness, future self. These 5 things, if you're not winning in all 5, you're not winning. You're not winning. You have the appearance of success, but you are anything but a success if you're losing in those areas. You've got to dial in and become the person, become the man, become the woman, the husband, okay, the wife, the parent that God has created you to be. He literally breathed his life into you. Right now, you're listening to this and you're on this earth. You woke up today. There is breath in your lungs because you ain't done. Because God has something amazing in your life ordained for you to do, for you to be a part of, a difference to make, people to serve, a dream to live out. And you've got to be willing to step into that. Peace is greater than profit. And finally, that your past and your future are nothing compared to your present. Your present is greater than the past, and it's greater than the future. This is probably the single most important lesson that I've learned, and I had to learn it a hard way. 4 years ago, 36 years old, just about turned 36 years old. It was June of 2019, and I started having some interesting neurological symptoms. And I didn't think much of it for the first few days, and then a weekend, I was having some pretty strange stuff happening. It was worrisome. It became a challenge to me mentally and physically. 3 weeks in, I could hardly walk. I could hardly talk. I couldn't barely wash my hair because I couldn't lift my arms up. And I thought I was dying. If you Google some of these symptoms, it's not good. It looked like I had a disease that there was no cure for, that there was also no like real early diagnosis for. It was like, hey, if you don't get better in a year and you're wheelchair bound, you can't eat anymore, you can't talk, that's what you have, right? And it was the scariest time of my life. And I just felt so sad on the inside that I wasn't going to be able to see my kids grow up. I would envision my wife as a widow so early in our life, looking at all the things we built and then not being able to be there to enjoy it. It literally rocked me to my core. I had a coach at the time, and he really was instrumental in helping me think my way through that. And man, everything shifted for me. The things I valued like instantly shifted. It was like, man, if I only have 6 more months of functionality left, how do I want to be spending my days? What do I want to be doing with that time? And you know what it taught me to do? It taught me to be present in the moment. Just to enjoy right now, because here's the truth. There ain't a dadgum thing you can do to change the past. And the future, you're not there yet. There's nothing you prepare, but you can't do anything about that either. You know what you can do something about right now? Past, here, now, in this moment. And you can be in it, and you can enjoy the richness. Guys, I'm talking about a beautiful day. Watching your kids play and goof around. A seemingly meaningless conversation with your spouse, reading a good book, having a great meal. Whatever it might be, these like little things that I was just flying past on my way to the next goal, the next dream, the next vision. It's good to have those things. It's good to have a big vision. It's good to have another dream. Those aren't bad things. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But when they cost you your life because you spend your whole life living for the future instead of living in the moment, they weren't good things. They robbed you of your relationships. They robbed you of the sweetness of life. They robbed you of the moments that make up this thing we call life. And guys, listen, vision, dreams, those things are all great, but not if they rob you of the right now. You got to be present, be in that moment, because here's what I know. Once this moment is gone, it's never coming back. It's gone forever. You're never going to get to live this day, this hour, and this minute over again. Take a breath, open your eyes, look at what's around you. Be unceasingly grateful for those things. So here I am. I think that I'm dying. It's not a good situation, but I'm learning a very valuable life lesson. Is that you sort of been wishing your life away. You're like, click, right? Okay. You've been just so focused on the future that you forget to live in the right now. And I made a promise to myself that, man, if I got better, I would never forget that lesson. I would live every day exceedingly grateful for everything in my life, the good, the bad, and everything in between, the people in my life, the opportunities I've been given, just a sunny day, that I would be grateful for that. And through a series of diet changes and something called DNRS that I did for like 6 months straight, sort of a mental reprogramming thing, man, listen, slowly but surely I started to get better. I started recovering. It took me about 6 months to get to like 99%. That was 4.5 some years ago. And it was one of the scariest moments of my life, but out of that came one of the lessons that gives me so much joy. Man, I can have big dreams, I can have big goals, and I have a lot of them, but I can also be right here, right now, in this moment with you, with the people that are around me. And I cannot be so focused on where I'm going that I forget about who I'm with or where I am right now or all of the incredible things. Listen, okay? Right now is where life is lived. It's not in the past, it's not in the future. Right now, right here. And here's why. We can't be in the past. It's already gone. We can't be in the future. We can only be right now. And so, man, I want to encourage you today. Get clear on what you want. What do you really want? What speaks to you? What rings your bell? What is that thing? And who cares what anybody thinks about it? People you see as, people you wouldn't want to take advice from, people you would want to, who cares? Listen, they're not in charge of living your calling and your purpose and your dream. You are, right? Results are greater than effort. Man, listen, we don't need to work ourselves to the bone anymore because we don't think we're worthy. We think that's the only way. We're better than we were. We're stronger than we were. We're smarter. Things come easier, not because they're easier, but because we're stronger. Impact is greater than influence. We don't need to chase attention and eyeballs. We need to chase meaning and significance and lasting impact. Consistency is greater than intensity. Man, lock into those little things that you can do every single day for a decade, because success is a 10 or 20 year game. Real success, sustainable success, not flash in the pan, not overnight, right? Something that's going to last. You got to get consistent. Peace over profits. Profit's wonderful. I hope you make tons of money, but not at the expense of your health, your family, your soul, your life, your present. Man, and listen, the present is all we got. It's the only place we can live in. And I hope that some of this spoke to you. I hope that it challenges you to look differently at your life and to see the gift that you've been given. Because y'all, today's a gift. It's not promised to any one of us. It could be over tomorrow. And if it were, would you look back on if it were over tomorrow, would you look back on today and say, I really lived. I didn't just exist. I wasn't just scrolling through. I wasn't just yelling at my kids because they were bothering me. I really lived. I was in the moment. I wrung every ounce of goodness and joy out of that day. I really lived. I was really there, and it really mattered. See, if tomorrow you were gone, would you look back on today and say, today I lived a masterpiece. Today I did everything I knew that I should be doing. Today I really lived. I was in the moment. I chased the things that matter to me with the people that matter to me. I showed up for them in every way that I knew how. And it left an impact. It's not what I left to people so much, although that's good. It's what I left in people around me. My attitude, my perspective, the way I look at life. Are you living a life that you be proud of? When that bell rings and your time is up, will you be proud of how you lived? And I hope this helps you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for sharing this, for rating and reviewing this podcast. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you so much. Hey, listen, I appreciate you, because when we get better, right? When we get better, things get better. Until next time, God bless.